Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Sleeper Spec circuit setup, and this time it's for a slightly higher spec vehicle than we would usually do these for, because generally speaking, with Sleeper Spec builds, it's better to work with a vehicle that isn't necessarily amazingly good to begin with, so then the improvements that you make will be even more impressive, such as a big heavy sedan, or a muscle car, or an SUV, that kind of thing. When you take vehicles though which are already fast, the differences won't necessarily be as drastic. Now I wanted to see what kind of difference there would be with something like an exotic, so I chose the Lamborghini Gallardo LP560, so let's see what kind of a difference it makes with a Sleeper Spec build. Now for those who are perhaps new to this series, what we do here is we upgrade the car in such a way that nobody could actually tell. It has the same weight, the same power, the same PP, and the same visuals. The only way that you can really tell is that it will beat you, because it's so much quicker. Now as far as tyres, I've gone to sport softs. Obviously if you go to racing softs, it will be even quicker. We've got racing brakes, and that's one of the only ways that a discerning eye can tell the difference, but not many people will notice that. As far as suspension, we've got the ride height the same as stock, 115 front and rear. We've stiffened up the springs to 675 and 1025, the dampers to 4, anti-roll to 3, camber and tow we've got neutral. You can come to the gearbox first on this one because we haven't done any power upgrades at all, not even an oil change. So what I've done is I've gone for a relatively close ratio setup, not hugely different from the standard gears, with an auto setting of 205, then individual gears of 3.1, 2075, 1.5, 1150, 925, 775, and a final drive of 4.3. As far as the diff, I've gone for the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration. I've actually gone for the lowest braking, but feel free to mess around with those settings, because with all-wheel drive cars you can adjust the handling far more than you can with, say, a front-wheel drive or a rear-wheel drive. You have much more settings to play around with. As far as the centre diff, I've gone for a 50-50 split to keep the front end under more control, but again, I would recommend playing around with that to find what works best for you. And as I said, you want to do no power upgrades and no change to the weight whatsoever. So that's overall for the Sleeper Spec build. Now let's of course take out to a racetrack to see just what kind of difference in lap time this can make. Now with a tune like this, as I said, the faster the car already is, the shallower the difference you're going to see, because it's already so good. And honestly, I wasn't expecting a huge difference in lap potential over the stock Gallardo. It's already a fast car. But the difference around one lap of Spa was actually massive. The standard Gallardo is known for being not necessarily the easiest of exotics to drive, despite the all-wheel drive, so the difference that it actually did make was pretty drastic. Now as always, I have put the exact laps down in the description below for you to compare them, but the difference around one lap of this track was over 10 seconds. 10 seconds quicker in the exact same car, still running on sports tyres, with no weight, no power, and no PP changes. That's pretty impressive. That's a pretty massive difference, in fact, considering that this car is stock to all intents and purposes and to any onlooker. So if you do decide to use this build for fun or for racing, obviously I hope you find it fun or competitive depending on your needs for it, and if you'd like to keep up with other builds like this in the future, be sure to hit subscribe down below for that. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.